Good afternoon, learners, and welcome to today's lesson. And the topic of the day is cultural and heritage tourism in South Africa, considered the Rainbow Nation. Now, today we are going to look at South Africa's cultural uniqueness. We are going to look at the importance of tourism in cultural tourism. We are also going to look at the different food offered in South Africa, traditional food, by the way. We're also going to look at the different dances in South Africa. And now, moving forward, what is cultural and heritage tourism? Cultural and heritage tourism is the travel to visit and get to experience places, artifacts, and activities that authentically represent the stories and people of the past and present, including cultural, historical, and natural resources. Now, looking at cultural and heritage tourism, this is more of a travel where one gets to travel, can be inbound tourists, can be domestic tourists traveling to other places to get to experience the cultures, the heritage of that particular place. So now, when you do this, you get to indulge more on the cultural activities of that particular place, the natural resources, which are the heritage of that place, and the way of living of the people that reside in that particular place. Now, when you do this, you are indulging more in cultural and heritage tourism. South Africa's cultural uniqueness. South Africa is a very diverse country and one of the most diverse countries in the world. This is because it has many different cultures. Can be Tsonga, Zulu, Swati, Ndebele, and many more, which are embraced countrywide. Now, because of this cultural diverseness, South Africa is considered a rainbow nation. It has 9 provinces and 11 official languages which are spoken throughout the country. South Africa celebrates culture in many different ways, whereby they even have a day which is the 24th of September, which is considered a public holiday. On this day, the citizens of South Africa embrace their culture and get to showcase their way of living, their culture, their traditional attires, and all of that. It is a very diverse country that allows one to embrace themselves and teach others of their cultures. Tourism's importance of culture in provinces. Tourism plays a very huge role in South Africa, more especially economically, as it attracts millions of tourists yearly, leading to the creation of jobs and the upliftment of many lives. When tourists travel from their countries to South Africa, it is not only for the culture or breathtaking nature and places, but also because of the most delicious and mouth-watering cuisines. South Africa has a variety of delicious foods that they offer, which are modern and also traditional. South Africa's cuisines are diverse as South Africa is. So the dishes are more cultural mixed with the touch of the modern dishes. These dishes are loved and praised by both the locals and the tourists worldwide. South Africa's dance practice. Now, dance is a very important and unique part of South Africa and what makes South Africa more unique. In this slide, we are going to look at the different dances in South Africa, the most popular and well-known dances in South Africa. The first one is gumboots. Gumboots dancing comes from South Africa's workers who worked in gold mines during the migrant labor system and oppressive past laws. During this time, workers were separated from their families and forced to work in harsh conditions. The mine workers used gumboot rhythm as a language to communicate in the mines. So now, gumboot is not just a dance, but it is something that has history in it. It is a dance that came about in the times of apartheid, where mine workers used this dance to communicate with their colleagues in the harsh conditions that they were facing. The second one is kwaito. Kwaito also anchors hip hop's cultural connection to its listeners. Its songs address the lives of black people in townships like Soweto and cities like Johannesburg in a mixture of regional languages and slang for popular cultures. So, Kwaito is not just a dance, but it addresses the lives of black people in townships, Soweto, and also Johannesburg. The third dance is the Zulu dance, which is known as Imvunulo. This dance is only performed by one participant and is a parade to show off the traditional attire of the Zulu men and women. Imvunulo is also the traditional attire in this dance, representing one's role and position in society. Now, South Africa does not only have modern doctors that we see on TV performing surgeries and going up and down in hospitals helping patients. South Africa has what we call traditional healers. In South Africa, they are called sangomas. In South Africa, from the ancient time, traditional medicine and herbs have been used and trusted to cure and help in making an individual strong. South Africa has traditional doctors who are called Isangoma. Isangoma are spiritual healers and are often women. They are people who diagnose illnesses. A Sangoma will ask the individual and family who have come to consult various questions. Now, for the Sangoma to help you, they will ask you questions. More like when you go to the hospital and the doctor asks you questions. What seems to be the problem? And now you tell them what the problem might be. The Sangoma will throw bones as a way of communicating with their ancestors. Now, this may come as a shocker. When you go to the Sangomas, they throw bones. These are not just bones, ordinary bones. There are shells or real bones of sacrificed animals, stones, and other objects. They are considered and believed to be spiritual and a way to communicate with the ancestors who are more part of the process of the Sangoma helping their clients or patients. In this slide, we discuss chieftaincy and kingship in South Africa. Chieftaincy was and still is a common form of authority within Black African communities. It is more than a political institution. This practice has much deeper meaning as locals perceived this as something more than a set of rules laid down by individual leaders. The primary role of the chief is to regulate social behavior within the community that he or she has control of. Chiefs are not in control of service delivery, as it is the local government's responsibility. They are social leaders rather than government institutions. Now, when it comes to chieftaincy in South Africa, this is a practice that has lived on for decades and decades, from thousands of decades alone. South Africa has had leaders with the likes of Shaka Zulu, Queen Mujaji, who was known as the Rain Queen. Now, when it comes to chieftaincy, this is more of a bloodline thing. Now, a chief has to come from a royal family, and they are groomed from their royal family and are trained to lead their nation, which is their community. When it comes to things like service delivery, that is more part of the government's the local government's responsibility, where they offer services like sanitation, water, electricity, and many more. The chiefs are more responsible for the social behavior of their community members, whereby if there is a quarrel between neighbors, they'll go to the chief and the chief will help them to sort out that particular quarrel. Or maybe there is a case of a marriage, the chief will be the one to officiate or to acknowledge that marriage in their community. The promotion of inbound and domestic tourism by cultural uniqueness and diversity in South Africa. Now, looking at inbound tourism. Our cultural uniqueness and diversity are particularly important in attracting inbound tourists. International tourists have a keen interest in visiting South Africa since it is home to very diverse cultures that have developed their own unique and distinctive music, cuisine, art forms, and traditional rituals symbolizing their values and beliefs. South Africa has a certain unique cultural practice that tourists can only find in this country. So, whatever happens in South Africa stays in South Africa and is unique to South Africa. You can't travel to America and expect to find what you'd find in South Africa. Thus, you have to travel to South Africa to experience the South African way. Domestic tourism. Attending cultural festivals is one of the main motivators of domestic travels. Examples of cultural festivals are the Cape Town Jazz Festival and Macave in Bloemfontein. The Short Left campaign has also encouraged South Africans to become curious and interested in each other's cultures and heritage. This has promoted domestic tourism and has also helped to reduce seasonality in the domestic tourism market. That was today's lesson, and I hope you have learned a lot more, especially when it comes to South Africa's uniqueness in the cultural and heritage tourism. Thank you so much. Until we meet again,